Hello everybody, welcome to episode 11. I forgot what this is called, for the Hoard of the Dragon Queen. There's a lot of things going on lately.
Smited by Tiamat.
That's right, my brain has been smote. She smote by ruin upon the mountain. Okay, so yeah, we're here at episode 11. We are missing Adela today. Life happens, and so we are going to roll forward without Aster currently. We'll see how things go. Music is a little loud because I did not turn it down like I should have. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it. Let me know if that is better. And we will dive in as we do a quick round of introductions for the players who are here today. Mick, why don't we start with yourself? Tell us who you are and who you were playing.
I'm Mick, and I am playing Chris, the drow rogue, who likes to steal stuff.
Perfect. I feel like that really sums things up, too, because, well, I feel like you should go and check out the YouTube channel if you don't know what I'm talking about. There is a playlist of our old episodes that you can catch up on what has happened so far. We'll do a little recap here in a moment, but head over there and give us a follow, and also check out the shows that have happened previously. Shadow, why don't we talk about yourself and your character?
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Shadow. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Vestra, who uses she, they pronouns, who happens to be a barbarian. Oh my gosh, I forgot my full title. Please hold. The Path of Ancestral Guardian barbarian, who just really likes dragons and likes to make dragon memorabilia.
Totally fair. And last but not least, Mika, why don't you tell us about yourself and your character that you'll be playing for this day?
Hi, I'm Mika. I do things. I'm playing Lemon Zest, who is a warlock artificer who's only part of the cult so that he will get his family inheritance.
Huzzah! Awesome. So last episode, hello Stacy, welcome in, and also hello to Raven and everyone else who's watching. Give you all a shout out. Good to see you. And last episode, you had journeyed with a fairly nice carriage that you had procured from a small cult, some kind of family that seemed to live in a rundown old mansion, but once inside you realized that the outside was just a facade. The inside was very well kept and had many riches inside. Kidnapped to be hunted like prey, you had surprised this group of cultists by switching the tables and not necessarily hunting them in return, but you certainly owned them fairly quickly. Finally escaping their clutches, only one of them survived, running off into the forest. You had kind of cleared out their house, as is your wont, to bring the goods to the Cult of the Dragon, which you've been traveling with for the past several weeks as you ransack small towns. Let's just not even try and ice over that one or glaze over that one, as it's just true. But you're doing it for the greater good, right? You're trying to bring Tiamat back from the abyss, where she has been, you know, unduly placed. Why would anyone put Tiamat in the abyss? That just seems wrong. And so using their numbers and their powers, along with, you know, having dragons on their side, the cult has been ransacking villages to increase the size of this hoard they are gathering that will be part of the ritual in order to bring Tiamat back. So gathering these goods, you'd place them in this this carriage, and we're traveling north up the high road to the camp where you were told to meet the rest of the raiders. Fairly uneventful trip. There was a badger. We're not even going to talk about it. There was a badger. The badger was more frightened of you than you were of it.
So we left it alone.
You left it alone. Everyone went their own way. And at the end of last time, you had finally made it to the camp, which is in this small canyon. Down in the canyon, you had seen that the camp itself had kind of been separated. There were kobolds kind of at the beginning who were guarding. The back half was more of the human and other species cultists. And you got the feeling that there was a higher level, like a higher ranking person in the camp, but you hadn't quite discerned who that was yet because I forgot who it was. And since then, you have found that it is you've actually heard people talking about Rezmir being in the camp. Now, Rezmir is not only aware of Purple, which is one of the high-ranking officers or members of the cult, but Rezmir is a worm speaker, the black worm speaker in specific, meaning that Rezmir possesses one of the fabled dragon masks, which are also supposed to be used during this ritual. Why Rezmir is here, you're not really sure, but along with this information, you had the pleasure of meeting Aster's huge air quotes when I say this, brother. You definitely got the feeling that this was not actually any kind of relation so much as Aster's parents had kind of taken him in almost like the child they never had, or the child they actually wanted instead of Aster, which was a bit of a sticking point. His name is Barlowe Hughes, and he had invited you all to dinner with Langdedrosa and Frulum, as he was making some he was reaching out from Aster's parents, essentially. He'd come here to speak with the ranking officers and such, and you got the idea that they are elsewhere and are summoning Aster to see them. Now, he had said that he wanted to head out tomorrow. There was a scroll of teleportation involved, and so with this dinner looming ahead of you, and Aster has gone off to find Willow, her friend, who hasn't been seen since you arrived. What are the three of you doing?
I think that Vestra and Tesha would be having like a little fashion show, but also costume modification with their new garb that they have with their increased in rank.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
They'd probably be like doing that somewhere. I don't know if we have like a campsite or like what it is, but that's probably what they're doing.
Oh,
awesome.
Oh yeah, the new armor. You were going to tell us if it did anything special for us.
Oh, so the armor itself doesn't do anything any more than what you already have. It looks different, okay, but you will have as ranking officers now, lowest ranking officers, but you are no longer initiates. You are now Dragon Claws, and you will have benefits from that within the cult. However, that I did forget to send you, and I will do so in the near future.
Cool.
And very true, Raven. We also have a steel defender that has joined the ranks called Lemon Blossom. I am sure
true.
Lemon Blossom will come into things very soon. So if you were on your map, you will see that there is indeed a camp that you are in.
Oh.
And the area that you are in is mostly made up of other humanoid cultists. There are a few kobolds that wander around, but for the most part, there are just the humans, the elves. Those members have kind of been camped in the back. You're not really sure what's up with the segregation here, other than the kobolds seem to just kind of stick to their own spaces up above, like kind of up the not the ramp, but the up the grade from you as you have like kind of gone downhill into this valley.
Are they all like the same rank as us, or are we still like mingled, like commingled?
You are still commingled. Yeah, you do notice that there are several initiates. The only tent that was really kind of off to itself, there are actually two. There's one up on the hill, like up on the cliff above you, and there is one, you'll see it labeled number 2 on the map. Excuse me. You saw that is where Frulum and Langdedrosa Cyanrath you'd spotted them before. And actually, when Langdedrosa had talked to you, he had walked back towards that previously. Okay. Anything else, Vestra?
No. If Lemon Zest allows it, I think Vestra would start making a type of headpiece for Lemon Blossom for them to like permanently wear, or until they go away, but then can come back again. I don't know how your magic works.
Yeah, so the way the Steel Defender works is it's just a robot. It's not a familiar. Like I legit built this chonker.
Oh, okay.
And they if they get damaged, I can just rebuild them. Yeah, they have a way to heal themselves up to 3 times a day.
Oh.
That's awesome.
I have the mending cantrip, but with the mending cantrip, I can also heal them for like 1d6 or something.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Vestra's probably working on.
They actually have decent stats.
Well, you know what I just remembered. So Vestra probably would go to start working on a headpiece, and she's used to having like her like some of her supplies and everything, and remembers that she still has none of her stuff because her stuff was never recovered from the house.
Actually, so we're gonna we never really talked about it, but you all did search the house and like looted the crap out of it. You all found your stuff.
Okay.
We never specifically, it never came to mind for me, and no one was like, "Hey, do I find my stuff?" So yes, absolutely, you found your stuff.
Okay. So then, yes. I think with her skills in smith tools, she does have proficiency with both smith and tinker's tools.
Nice.
So I think with a combination of that, she's going to try to craft like this adorning headpiece for Lemon Blossom.
Nice. Go ahead and roll you could do either one, tinker's or smith's tools.
Or smithings.
And one other thing that you did notice is that the oven that had not yet been lit to cook the pieces of Harper that you had found in the kitchen, you had actually found your pamphlets in there, like they were going to use it as kindling so like some of your pamphlets do have like a bit of like ash and soot kind of smeared on them, but you managed to clean them up pretty well.
Oh, okay, good. Don't have to spend time remaking those.
Right?
Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
How do I... hold on. So if I... which attribute applies to smith tools?
Let's call it Dex.
X, okay. Because it was like input attribute, and I was like, I don't know what that means, but thank you. Oh no.
All right, yeah, okay. So Lemon Zest, Vestra has like built this kind of looks like a some kind of like almost like a wreath that the bottom of it, or like if you were to hang it on a door or something like that, the bottom is mostly just like dangly bits, but the top kind of sticks up. You're not really sure what holiday this wreath was built for, or what it's really supposed to represent, but as Vestra like kind of works it over Lemon Blossom's head and affixes it like to just in front of its ears, you realize that this is supposed to be some kind of headpiece instead of a door hanging wreath. I don't know how you feel about that, so you do you.
Thanks. I guess.
Yeah, no, I just thought Lemon Blossom, I feel like you worked really hard on Lemon Blossom, and I just felt like Lemon Blossom really deserved some recognition. So I was really inspired by ancient gold dragons and how they have like this multitude of like breath weapons that do really cool things, and so it's like supposed to be like a light and dark element in here, and then and then it's just like like how like magnificent their breath is.
All right. I don't know anything about art or fashion or anything, so I'm sure it's beautiful.
Yeah, I can add on to it too, like if you want more like flair.
I noticed this has only 5 pieces of flair, and
there's flair, as long as there's flair for each head of Tiamat.
Yeah. We can get working on that.
Maybe Lemon Blossom should have 5 heads.
That would be extremely useful.
I'm going to think real hard about that now.
Okay.
So while this interaction is going on, what is Chris up to?
I want to be looking around to see if there's anything strange going on around the camp.
Okay. Go ahead and do a perception check for me. Are you asking around, or just like kind of looking around trying to notice things?
Oh, just looking around noticing.
Okay. All right, so with your 15, you do notice that, and you noticed him kind of literally hanging out to this X made of wood in the kind of southern areas of the camp. But down here is that half-elf that you had captured in the cathedral or the church back in Greenest.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's just kind of been like attached to this it's like 2 posts that have essentially been crossed, and so he has one arm up on each one, and he's not like dangling, but he is like, his feet are on the ground, but he's definitely like been put out to the elements. Looks like he's been out here for the entire time that they've been here. Like essentially they got here a little bit before you because of you went off, and so maybe a couple of days that he's been out here. You notice that there are some other prisoners within that camp down here labeled 1. So this area down here. And then you do notice that there is a good amount of activity going on in that tent marked number 2, which seems very well taken care of. You see many initiates essentially are going in and out of there throughout the time that you've been down in this area, bringing refreshments, running messages back and forth. You notice that the tent that is up on the cliff has some like winged serpents that are being used essentially as messengers. Like you'll see runners go up there with messages from the tent. They'll attach them to small serpents. Those serpents will fly off. That's the bulk of what's going on right now. It seems like everyone's just kind of taking care of themselves, getting ready for the next leg of the journey. I think maybe the one other thing that you notice is this cave on the far right of the map, labeled number 4. You do notice that it is well guarded. There are several dragon claws that have been staked out around it, and they aren't letting people pass that don't have a certain rank, at least.
Okay.
And you do recall that there is some kind of hatchery here for dragon eggs.
All right.
Anything else while you're wandering around taking in the sights?
Not in particular, no.
Okay. I would say that you also do notice that Aster is hanging out with Willow. They're just kind of talking. It looks like Aster is going through a chest full of garments that probably are Willow's and not hers. You don't really remember seeing her have a collection of clothing this large, and they're kind of like checking to see whether or not any of these would fit Aster. Probably getting ready for the dinner this evening.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Mika, as
Yes.
Lemon Zest is kind of having this conversation, you hear this metallic ringing, this tapping nearby, and you turn and you see Bonvolio is standing there, and he has that big staff that he made, that mechanical staff of power, and he's tapping the leg of Lemon Blossom as he kind of walks around your creation and eyes it. And every so often he'll like tap a different leg. It's kind of like kicking the tires if you're buying a new car. You've always had a hard time reading Bonvolio's expression, as his turtle face doesn't really express, like it doesn't emote strongly. But you notice that many devices hang around him, and he pulls out one every so often, takes some measurements with one, does some scanning with another. What do you do, if anything?
Yes, hello. This is my Lemon Blossom. How can I help you?
He just kind of grunts at you and continues measuring things.
Well, I made them on the road, so, I mean, it's not the best work I can do, but I am proud of my Lemon Blossom. I'm thinking of adding 4 more heads.
He, like, gets to the front of Lemon Blossom, is looking at the head that it currently has, and the wreath of jangles and spikes and frills. And at this point, you do notice that, like, the emotion on his face is like one eye kind of like, and he reaches forward a little clawed hand, and there's like this like kind of harmonious jingling noise as he like runs it over the wreath, and he looks a little surprised. Yes, for your first Steel Defender, I'm sure this will be adequate.
Adequate. I do not like that word.
Well, you have to start somewhere. He gives
How
it
can
one
I
less
improve?
like he gives it one less like thunk in the belly with the staff, and then looks at his little measuring tools.
I mean, if we've got some time, you can't just say notes. I'll take notes. So if I've got time, I can work. I can work on Lemon Blossom.
4 more heads, you say?
Yes.
Do you have schematics for this built up already?
No, this popped in my head like 5 minutes ago. Minute for each head.
Inspiration is like that. I do have a drafting table set up in my tent if you'd like to join me.
Really?
And he just
yes.
turns and like slowly starts plodding away.
With his little cobalt legs, Lemon's Zest is gonna like chase after him,
Okay.
and then like turn, run back, tap Lemon Blossom, and be like, come on, follow me.
You notice as Lemon
Then turn
Blossom
back around and
moves,
follow.
there's like this kind of jingling as the wreath kind of moves around. It's not quite like a wind chime, but it's pretty similar.
I'm sure it sounds pleasant.
All right, so Vestra, you noticed this interaction as you were nearby. What would you like to do now?
I think Vestra's just gonna look after Lemon Zest as they trail away with Lemon Blossom and just kind of be like, that seems to be going well. And then he's going to turn around, and then at this point it's like, well, I guess I could make more dragon stuff, but also we're here. Maybe there's dragons here. Where's Chris? Chris would know if there's dragons here. And then I would start like looking around for Chris.
Okay, yeah, make a perception check. And Chris, are you being sneaky as you're walking through the camp, or are you just kind of strolling through camp?
Just kind of strolling.
Okay. Whew. There are
Rolling
quite a few
so
people
well.
in town, or in the camp. Let's get these bad rolls out of the way now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you're moving through the camp, you're looking around. You don't see Chris as Chris walks behind you, and continues on. You don't see them, and you're looking for signs of dragons as well. And every so often, you do hear strange noises that come out of the cave that's off to the east side of the camp. You notice that there are several guards posted outside, and those being let in are definitely higher rank than you are. But other than that, you don't see any signs of dragons or Chris.
Okay. I feel like with her wandering camp, I feel like she's used to being her like initiate right level, where like you can just kind of go anywhere, like you're kind of like invisible, right? You just kind of like be anywhere, go anywhere, and then I feel like at some point she starts noticing like some people are like noticing her, and then she's like, oh, and then she like slows down a little bit and like straightens up a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, like, all right, be the dragon you believe in. And then and she keeps walking, and then I think she's just gonna keep wandering until she runs into like somebody important, like Langardrosa, or I insert other high-ranking official name here. Yeah, I think that's what she's just gonna keep doing.
Nice. So as you're kind of wandering around, you don't see signs of you don't see this Resmir that people have been chatting about being in the camp. You don't see signs of Frulum. Every so often you do notice Langdidrosa walking around, but a lot of times it's like either to or from that tent that you know that is it's kind of set off by itself. You do end up seeing that half elf that you captured in the church. He's been like essentially put out to the elements on these wooden beams. You notice there are some other prisoners. Not really sure. You don't recognize them. They must have been captured since coming here, or maybe they were here when because this is kind of an area that has been set up prior to this caravan's arrival. And so they might have been here when the caravan arrived. Yeah. While you're looking around, go ahead and make me a... What is your stat, Lemon Zest? Is it intelligence? Is that your
Yes.
artificer? Go ahead and make an intelligence check for me.
Intelligence.
And add your proficiency. Oh, holy moly.
That 17? Yes.
So I'm seeing a 20.
It was a 20.
Yeah, so I think you rolled a 17 plus 3 for your intelligence,
Yes.
and then 2 for your proficiency?
Yeah.
So
So
22. You're in this tent, and as soon as like the two of you got working, any kind of like awkwardness that exists between you and Bonvolio is definitely just kind of gone as the two of you are discussing like angles and mathematics of how to like add the extra heads, and you're like sketching different designs, and then like it moves from the sketch phase to like actually kind of like he gets out some protractors and some I can't think of what they're called, the little like circle drawing things. Are they called compasses? Yeah. They pulled out some compasses. You're like drawing away. As the hours pass, you end up with a quite nice, delicately designed blueprint for this concept that you have of this five-headed. I don't want to call it a gargoyle, even though that's what the art is. This steel defender that's supposed to have 5 heads, but without it being like too awkward and like bulky and everything. It's still this sleek design that would allow it to fit through the spaces you need it to fit through, for example, and all that. Go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage for me.
Oh, a disadvantage.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're really wrapped up in all of this.
That is a 3.
Perfect. While you're sketching away and the two of you are kind of a lot of this has been fairly quiet. You can hear the camp moving around outside, but you're not really hearing much of what's going on. Like you're not really following the time has passed. You don't really sense how much time has passed until it's almost dark, and the two of you are like needing to start lighting lanterns and stuff. And while that's going on, Chris, go ahead and make a perception check, and Vestra, make a perception check, please.
All right.
Something bad's happening.
I think I got all those bad rolls out of the way.
Right? Perfect. So with 2 17s, the two of you are, well, I guess actually let me ask, time has passed. Chris, what would you be doing as the sun is beginning to set?
Looking for the other party members.
Okay. So with that 17, you definitely notice Vestra. Just before Vestra notices you, Vestra, what are you doing?
I think at some point, Vestra got lost in thought and then remembered that they said that the red wizards were in camp.
Mm-hmm.
And Vestra's never seen a red wizard. So I feel like Vestra would have tried to track one down.
Okay.
Because I think she has like the inherent knowledge that they're not the best on the moral code, but I don't think she has like, I think it's kind of like how her view of the Hoard is a little skewed. I think it's the same thing for the Red Wizard. So I feel like she would try to track him down.
Okay. So you've been looking around and you realize that actually, so I'm going to say that you either heard talk or you asked somebody, and they are the Red Wizard that is in the camp is in the tent with Frulum. And apparently Resmir is also in the tent, and they've been meeting throughout the day. And so trying to get this tent has been closed off. Walking by it, you've actually noticed as you kind of like tried to skirt around to see if you could like maybe catch a glimpse inside, you notice that like one side, like as if you're walking with the tent on your left side, all of a sudden your ear kind of seems to pop and you can't quite hear anything. Almost like there's some kind of enchantment on the area that is stopping sound from coming out. And so you're like, all right, I just want to catch a peek. And this is about the time that Chris sees you as you are waiting for someone to like open the flap that goes inside just to catch that little peek. And indeed an initiate, a small halfling, let's say, that's wearing the initiate robes and is carrying this large platter of drinks in one hand and tries to pull the flap off to one side, manages to slip the tray in, but just in time for you to see this ring of chairs that it's set up inside. And on the far side facing you is this Red Wizard sitting on his shoulder, kind of perched around his neck, its tail dangling off one side, is a purple like dragonette. Not quite a pseudo-dragon. The pseudo-dragons are a little more fairy-like. This is more like a miniature dragon of some sort. As it is just kind of hanging out there, you notice it's like licking its paws and like its golden eye looks around. You're not really sure what you were expecting, but actually, why don't you do an insight check?
All right. It's a 12.
Okay. So you're not really sure how you were expecting to feel seeing a Red Wizard for the first time, but this Resmir is this Red Wizard, you don't know their name. Resmir is the dragon. You do also see Resmir, the black dragon, the black half dragon. We'll get to that in a moment. But the feeling of kind of awe of this shaved head wizard settles over you. There are these intricate tattoos on his head. He has this well-oiled black goatee and mustache that's very well groomed, and his eyes are just very piercing as he appears to be listening to something that someone on your side is saying. You can't see who's speaking necessarily, but you do see the horns, the forward sweeping horns of Resmir as she is kind of sitting at attention, maybe a little tense, in a chair next to the Red Wizard. Her black scaled snout is, you could see the teeth grinding together almost in irritation.
I feel like if Vestra's eyes could become star-shaped, they would. As she is catching all of this information, and she is, I feel like like as Chris is like coming up to her, she has like a moment and she forgets herself and she just goes like, "They're so cool," and it's just kind of like standing there like this for like a minute.
And Chris, you glance over to see what Vestra is squeeing over, and just catch the glimpses of the red robed figure and the black half dragon, and then the flap is closed, and you start to smell smoke. Not like the campfire smoke that you've kind of gotten used to as you've been walking around for the last few hours or hanging out. This is kind of an oily, thick, pungent smoke. What do you do?
Can I check on the source of the smoke?
Sure. And Vestra also notices this. So is there anything that Vestra does also?
Yeah, I feel like Vestra like turns like whichever direction the smoke smell is like wafting to her. Sees Chris. Oh, hi Chris. Did you come to take a look for a look at the Red Wizard too?
I did not. I'm just looking around in general.
Oh. Okay, did you happen to find any dragons?
No, but I think I found where the, I guess, hatching ground is.
The hatching ground is here?
I think it's in the heavily guarded cave.
Oh. Do you think we could sneak in there? We probably shouldn't.
I think we probably could. But we might get in trouble for it.
That's fair. We did just get promoted. Maybe we can ask. Maybe we'll ask at dinner or something, right? Aren't we having dinner with important people?
We are.
Okay. I'll bookmark that. Anyway, do you smell that?
I do. I am trying to figure out the source.
So I feel like Chris has been like looking while this conversation is going on. Like Vestra might be a little more intent on Chris and might be glancing around, but Chris, you notice that up the hill towards the Kobold camp and the watchtowers, there's a glow that's starting to become apparent. It looks like the watchtowers are beginning to blaze, as somewhere around the middle of them, not from the bottom but around the middle, fire is licking up the sides. You also notice some of the fur covered tents of the kobolds are also beginning to smolder and alight.
Okay.
And you start to notice up the hill as kobolds are running around in panic, and then it's almost like a wave of recognition of the events that are going on is rolling down the hill as people begin to step out of tents and see the fires. What do you two do?
First internal thought. With smelling like this fire and the nature of the fire, with her vast knowledge of dragons, would Vestra think that this is coming from a dragon? Like a dragon is the one who's like catching things on fire.
So it doesn't, you didn't see anything that was any kind of dragon sign, any kind of like breath weapon or anything like that. It's almost like there was something that set fire to these that was like on them.
Okay. Got it. We should do something about that, right? Like we should.
I mean, we don't have to, but I suppose it could help us in the long run if we do.
Yeah. Do you think it might be like those really mean harpers are back?
Well, if they are, we can kill them.
They're so mean. Like they rather just use violence instead of their words. I just yeah, is there some sort of like warning bell system? Do we send up sparks? Like what, how do we, like what is this call to
I mean,
to
you haven't seen anything, but what would come to mind for warning?
I have no idea. Vestra's just gonna run towards, gonna start running in the direction of the fire.
Okay.
I suppose I will follow.
All right. So as the two of you head up the hill, you notice that more and more of these kobold tents have started on fire, probably from catching each other on fire as opposed to other things. It's just they're so close together, and the blaze is popping and sparking, and embers are floating. You do notice as you get further up the hill that there is a wind that isn't downhill, that isn't down the into the canyon. You're not sure if that's natural or not. You could do a nature check if you wanted.
Vestra personally is not.
Okay. You get closer up there and you hear kobolds yelling in Draconic. If you speak Draconic, you hear them. Yeah, you hear them yelling about, you know, getting water, put out the fires. All of my possessions are in there. Like they're just like yelling to each other for help and to put the fires out. You do notice that other initiates, or sorry, initiates in general, because not other initiates, you're no longer initiates, are also moving around. Some of them begin moving their hands in a fashion that is similar to what Aster does. And you notice like some water appear in a big like globe and then fall onto some of the tents, somewhat squashing the fires. But it seems like the tar that is used kind of as a waterproofing for the roofs is just burning like mad. Real quick, in the tent, the lantern's now lit as the two of you rub your tired eyes. Lemzest, you hear commotion outside. You haven't really noticed it before. It seems like there's something going on. Is there anything that you want to do?
Hey, Benvolio, what do you know what's going on out there? I'm gonna peek my head out. I'm gonna peek my head out the tent door.
You notice his eyes blink in like asynchronously, and then he finally like kind of clears the bleariness out and looks around. I don't know, and he'll follow you over to the door. Off in the distance, you notice that first of all, it's dark out, which much darker than you really come to realize. The sun is definitely going down, if it's not already down over the horizon. You being in the canyon, you can't see it, and the darkness is marked by a large glow coming from uphill. Looks like there is fire consuming the kobold camp.
No, not the other kobolds. I don't. Do you know what's going on?
I don't know. We should go lend a hand.
God, Lemon Blossom. I'm gonna hop on Lemon Blossom, and although I actually don't think Lemon Blossom goes much faster than I go.
I think he goes
to be
40.
Fair, I go. Oh, okay. I go 30. Surprisingly.
It's like a fast walk versus
right. It's all the scampering.
Yeah.
Where are you? Steel Defender. Here we go. Yeah, 40 feet. So it goes a little faster than me.
Yeah.
That adds up.
So you jump on. There's like the musical jangling of its new headpiece as you ride off towards the camp. As you get closer, you notice that there are several of the tents burning. The tower itself is just a giant pyre. And make a perception check for me.
Perception. Perception's never great. 5.
Indeed, it is not. You head that direction. As you are riding up, what are Vestra and Chris doing?
Is there anything to do, I guess, while we're on our way?
So you've like reached the area that's on fire. Is what kind of help do you want to lend? G'day.
Yeah, that's marshmallow. Can I use Mage Hand to, I guess, help with the water? Because I don't want to get close to the fire.
Nice. Yeah. Go ahead and make a spellcaster roll. So it'd be your D20 plus your proficiency plus whatever your intelligence, I think.
Okay, so I think plus 4. So 17.
17. Nice. So you go in and it's kind of like watching a waterbender. You go in and like you summon this hand and it like begins to like help direct the drops of water that these clerics are forming over, and it does help. It is difficult to get the tar to go out, but with your help they're actually doing much better. So while Chris is like helping them to direct the water, what does Vestra do?
Vestra, I think Vestra initially picks up like a bucket of water and then remembers that Vestra is now a slightly higher level, and instead like clambers up on top of like a crate or something.
Okay.
And starts like shouting instructions like, crate water over there, grab sand, pour sand on it, get those kobolds out of that tent, like, you know, and like organizing it. Maybe sends somebody to go get somebody who can get us a dragon who does water things.
Gotcha. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, and then when you're done with that, also roll a charisma check. Fantastic. So you're standing on top of this. You're having a hard time. Are you wearing your new helmet?
Oh yeah.
So you're actually having a little bit of a hard time because it keeps slipping down. It's not quite the right size for you. So you're like shouting and it like maybe slips down a little bit and like covers your face. And so you're like having to shove it up and like you're looking under its nose because you're just trying to be so useful. You're not sure if people are listening to you, but they are moving around you. And it is about this time that Lemon Blossom comes thumping up, and you, Lemon Zest, you notice Vestra standing on this crate shouting orders. They're having a heck of a time with their new helmet. What do you do?
Oh, what's the problem with the helmet?
Just maybe a little too big. Or it's a mimic, one of the two.
Oh. What's going on? Fire! What started the fire?
That's just like pushing her helmet back into place. We don't know. We just walked up. Chris is doing magic-y things, but when we got here, there was fire and smoke, and then the wind isn't helping anything.
Is everyone evacuated?
Probably not. It was so sudden.
And you definitely... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna go find out. I'm gonna ride in there. I'm gonna see what's going on.
Yeah.
Fearless.
Go ahead and make a perception check. You also do notice that as you've ridden uphill, there's a wind that wasn't downhill, and it seems to be fanning the flames.
Is there... Can I still defender roll perception?
It can, yeah.
Okay, I'll do my perception first, which was a 10. My still defender's perception is perception plus 0 plus proficiency bonus times 2. So it's a d20 plus 4.
Okay.
Roll. Oh my god. So that's a 13.
Okay. Your steel defender does notice as you're moving through that, you know, if there's anyone that needs help, maybe that hasn't been able to make it through the flames, will like move up and kind of like nudge the side of a tent that you notice like the flap is still tied shut on or something like that. What do you do?
I open the tent and say, hey, fire!
Okay. What? I'm not
fire. Can you not feel the heat?
Well, oh, it is really warm. What? Oh, there's a fire! Ah!
Yeah, there's a fire. That's what I've been saying.
This little blue kobold comes scurrying out.
Oh my gosh! Yes, go! Fight others. Get everyone out.
So, as the group of you are helping to save the kobolds that are perhaps still asleep or trapped within their tents, put out the flames that you can, there is a brief flash of light that comes from the camp where your Lemon Zest, near where you were. All of you notice it. It's not instantaneous like a flash bulb or something like that. It's a little bit more like lightning, where it kind of happens and then fades away. So it's fairly quick, but you all three of you, in fact, everyone notices it as everyone kind of turns to look down and then returns their attention to the firefight.
Oh, I'm rushing towards that.
Okay. So Lemon Blossom carries Lemon Zest back towards the tents. The rest of the cultist tents, not the kobold tents. What do Chris and Vestra do? I'm at a coffee.
Coffee roast.
I think Vestra would also head in that direction, because like she doesn't know that she wasn't actually doing anything, but she was like, they're really taking care of it. They're really on top of it now. Like, all the clerics are really coordinated with their water drops. Like, they're doing great. My work here is done. And then she will head towards the new event.
Okay. Yeah, you have told them what to do very well. You've guided their hands. And as you head down the hill, Chris, what are you up to?
I guess I'll head back as well and see if there's anything, going on along the way.
Okay. So the three of you head back down towards the rest of the encampment. You do notice that the kobolds and the other initiates, as well as you see some dragon claws moving amongst the crowd, seem to have the fire pretty well under control. Some of the tents have completely burned, and the one watchtower, the one closest to the camps, is just kind of crumbling at this point. You can hear its timbers crack as it collapses on itself. But it seems like the other watchtower they managed to save. As you're heading down, do one more perception check for me. And Lemon Blossom won't get to do this one, as it is a recognition of something that has changed as opposed to noticing something happening.
Oh
Perfect.
My gosh.
Perfect. Yep. Yay! Yay! Nice job, Chris. Chris, as you're heading down the hill, you notice that the prisoner area, is now empty. The tents are still there.
I will relay that information.
Okay.
I guess that means that our half-elf friend has escaped.
You do not see the half-elf. There are some dangling chains that are attached to the wood where he was. You do not see people in the actual there were kind of like these metal cages that were set up in the tents that didn't have the tents themselves didn't have walls, so you could see in from all sides, but all of them are gone. And relaying that information to Vestra and Lemzest, or to someone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we all get there about the same time.
Yeah, so essentially the three of you are heading down the hill together. Chris relays this information to you. But the flash of light was in the tents, kind of up where your token is, Lemon Zest.
Okay.
What do you do?
I'm going to go towards that flash of light.
Okay. And Vestra?
I'm gonna go to where the prisoners were and look at that sus situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an investigation, Vestra. And Lemon Zest, you notice that there are people kind of milling around a tent, as though they had also seen something, and they're like looking in the tent, and they're checking the grounds around it. They're not really sure what happened. And Chris, what are you up to?
I think I also want to go investigate the prison area.
Okay, go ahead and also actually, yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation as well.
So I guess on the way back, is the cave still guarded, or?
It is. You actually notice that there are more guards over there, including Langdedrosa, who is like standing there with his massive glaive, waiting for something to happen. Okay, so the two of you that are checking out the prisoner area, you notice that there are open cages, like the cages have been left open, and you don't see keys dangling or anything like that. You do see, Vestra, you notice some signs of like broken lockpicks that have like been left behind, but it seems that somebody opened these without the keys. And let's see, with that 19, you also notice that there are some footprints on the south side as you're kind of like working your way through. Some footprints on the south side that just seem sus. Like why are people walking around on this side necessarily heading towards that cliff?
Are there any others nearby? Like any other Hoard members nearby? Or is it just Chris and myself?
You're the only two that are here right at the moment. Chris, as you were moving through, you also noticed there are two dragon claws that are unconscious, stuffed into one of the cages. That one is locked, but it looks like there were guards here that had been knocked out. And Vestra, you do notice that off to the east in that camp over there are people moving around with a certain amount of alertness, kind of in a defensive manner, like they're watching around towards the fire, towards the cliffs, making sure no one's like going to like start shooting flaming arrows down at their tents or something, but they're not really paying attention to the prisoner area.
Chris, what do you think? Do you think that they're the ones who are doing this?
Who do you mean?
The prisoners, the escaped prisoners. Do you think they're the ones that are trying to burn those poor kobolds in their tents?
I think it may have just been a distraction.
So you think they're up to something more nefarious?
That, or they just needed a distraction to get out of prison. maybe we should find out what the half-elf was up to before we had to find them to figure out if there's someone that we need to look for. Otherwise, we can just let them be.
You think we should ask Langdodrosa?
Sure.
Okay. Are the prisoner area is like in vicinity of the cave area, or are they like really far away?
Is so. Let's see. Actually, I'll move your.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I didn't move
token.
myself on the map.
So this fellow's not there. Lemon Zest is up here. Chris and Vester are down here. You see You see one of the wagons, one of the mechanical wagons, with a kobold on top that's just screeching at the top of its lungs as it drives by and has some like buckets of water on it, and then it fades away as it goes up the hill. Hey, always try and take advantage of background sounds.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Free background
no, it was
sounds.
perfect. He's the fire truck going up the hill.
The kobold itself was making the siren sound.
Right.
It doesn't actually have a siren.
Right.
Yeah, I think Vestra is just gonna take off like sprinting towards Langdodrosa
Okay.
to report that the prisoners are gone and it's sus.
So Langdodrosa is over here at the
Look at this
cave.
little token.
And so you head over here. Langdodrosa watches as you move closer. There is a moment where like the glaive that he's holding lowers in defense, and then he realizes who you are. And like he stamps the butt of it into the ground as he waits for you to arrive. The other guards around him watching the canyon walls and the cliffside above and behind them in front of you. What do you say?
Vestra, very out of breath, fixing her helmet once more. Okay. Okay. Langdodrosa, the prisoners escaped. And the half elf, the half elf is the half elf evil?
Hi, Baxter.
Oh, Baxter.
He growls and glances off towards the tent, marked number 2, but essentially the tent you were glancing in earlier. You notice that Frulum is standing outside of the tent door, that flap that you had been looking through. But the other 2 appear to still be inside or are elsewhere. You don't see signs of them. Frulum appears to be on guard, also holding her glaive, and is watching the happenings. She's shouting orders, so now you can hear that silence that had been cast over the area is now gone. Thanks for redeeming the pupper treat. I actually can give that to her right now.
Yeah.
He tells you the half-elf was staked out to make him talk. We were trying to get information out of him as far as what he had learned and who he had told about our plans. Delivered.
Well, clearly he told somebody who now is, well, actually Chris over here said that that the fire and everything is actually just a distraction, and then we just didn't know if you would think it's a distraction for them to escape or if it's a distraction for them to do other bad stuff.
Speaking of Chris, where is Chris?
I think I would have come on. I wouldn't have been running, but I would have came at a like leisurely pace, so
Okay. What's your passive perception, Chris?
my passive perception is, I want to say 13, but let me check. It is 13.
13. Okay, hang on one sec. Just for no reason whatsoever, I just need to roll this d20 real quick. Okay. Yeah, so you easily, keep up with Vestra, even with your walking pace, as Vestra's legs are just short enough to make them have a 25 movement speed. And so you walk up as this conversation is happening. Do you say anything?
Let's see. I just say, I don't know if you've noticed, but the prisoners have escaped.
That is frustrating. It seems that the fire is going out. Perhaps the two of you should see if you can find where they went.
I'm not much of a tracker, but I'll see what I can do.
I have faith in
Yes.
your abilities.
Let's do this. Chris, where should we start?
I'm not sure. Maybe up on the ledge, or maybe we can go to the cages and see if there are any tracks that
Okay.
they left behind.
I think that's when Vestra is like, oh yeah, there were tracks to the south. We should go that direction.
Okay, so you want to go investigate those tracks?
Yeah.
All right. As the two of you head back towards that area of the camp, Lemon Zest, what are you up to?
Figuring out what that light was.
Okay. You go. So everyone's kind of like milling around the tent, and you hear that the light came from inside the tent.
Okay, I'm gonna hop off Lemon Zest or
Okay.
Lemon Blossom, and then go peek inside the tent. Like shoo everyone. Like, have you looked inside the tent?
One of the nearby initiates is like, yeah, we didn't. There's no one in there.
I'm gonna look inside.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me, please.
Investigation. Oh, +5. Heck yeah. 18.
We're doing better. The dice are treating us a little better than they were. As you go in, you're looking around. First, your nose catches this kind of scent of this, like, you're pretty sure that's like a pomade, some kind of like hair gel, and it just reminds you instantaneously of Barlowe. You've only met Barlowe the one time, but this scent just kind of like clung to him as he put way too much of this gel in his hair, and you get the feeling that maybe this is where Barlowe was staying. And you're looking around and donating to the Libby Fund. She'll appreciate that. Thank you. You're looking around and you notice laying on the floor, kind of like half discarded, is a blank scroll. It looks like it had been written on before, but the runes that had held magic have vanished, leaving only like the scarred traces of their presence on it. The scroll has been used recently.
Shoot. Could have been teleportation.
You do remember that Barlowe had said he had a way to take Aster to see Mumsy and Dadsy.
Okay, I see what's going on here. All right, so yeah, so I'm assuming it's teleportation scroll, and that they're gone. Barlowe. kidnapped our dear friend Aster. The end. That's all I got. I'm assuming.
And that was the end of our game. That was the entirety of the series. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah.
Tune into season 2.
So I think
Right.
I think that's what I can assume then from like everything I know.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't seen Aster, and it definitely seems that Barlowe has fled using some kind of teleportation magic.
Cool. Not cool. Crap. I didn't want to Solosis. I wonder if Barlowe had anything to do with this, or if this was all just a coincidence with the attack and the freeing. I'm gonna go find the others now.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's all I found. It doesn't seem like there's anything else I can do.
Doesn't appear like there's anything else in here. You do notice as you're heading out and you're kind of like looking around, the scent of like wet soil and maybe patchouli crosses your nose, and you notice as Willow is like walking around looking, she's opening like tent flaps. Aster? Aster!
Aster's gone.
Oh, lemon zest. What do you mean Aster's
Hey.
gone?
I'm pretty sure Barlowe teleported her away to see Mumsy and Popsy.
I told her not to go visit him. Why did she not listen to me?
Well, do any of us really know Aster and how she thinks?
I mean, I'd like to think I do, but maybe not.
She didn't really like Barlowe. Didn't seem like it, so maybe he kidnapped her.
I mean, I can't see that she would have teleported away with him on choice.
Nobody kidnaps Aster.
And about this time, you do notice walking across the open area of the camp, Vestra and Chris are heading down towards the prisoner area, which is now empty of prisoners. Did you want to join them, or are you going to stay here and talk to Willow? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to join them. Okay, I need to go tell the others in our little group.
Oh, totally. I understand.
I don't.
Yeah. Hey, do you need a hug?
We'll figure this out.
Do you need a hug real quick?
Sure. Okay.
You just look like you're maybe a little tense and could use a hug.
There's so much going on right now. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm overstimulated.
She reaches up and like just very gently like gives you like a hug. It's not like a super squishy hug or anything like that. Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you need some tea later, just let me know.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna go tell Langdedrosa that guy Barlowe took Aster. I'll catch up with you later.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna go meet up with the others.
Okay. So Chris and Vestra, as you are heading into the tents that once housed the prisoners, you do hear the two dragon claws as they're slowly coming around in the cage that they've been stuffed into, just kind of like quietly like moaning in soreness or pain. And then you hear like the soft jingling of Lemon Blossom's headpiece as Lemon Zest rides up behind you.
Would anybody at the table mind if I use my medallion of thoughts to detect thoughts on these guards?
Go for it.
Alrighty, so yeah, I touched this newfound medallion that I have She spend one of its 3 charges
Okay.
to cast Detect Thoughts, which is a save DC of 13. Yeah. As I walk up to these guards and I start questioning them rapid firely. What happened here? Where did they go? Who did this to you? How did you end up in these cages?
So
Are you other side?
the first surface thoughts that you get are like, oh, my aching back, or oh, my head, and they're just kind of like coming to, and then you start like shouting questions at them, and their surface thoughts are, oh, what, oh, what's going on, and they blink, like it kind of like try to move around in this cramped little area that they're in, and they're looking at you. Who are you? Oh, I'm sorry, what what? And there's just like this confusion because there was like a rapid fire succession of questions. Go ahead and make. So are you going to delve into their thoughts deeper, I guess, is the first thing we need to do.
Yeah. Yes, okay. I would. And then if it helps, do they look like individuals that would speak languages other than common?
One is a human, and the other is probably a half orc, and they both seem to be thinking. Well, telepathic is different. They are mumbling in common, but you're not really sure what other languages they might speak.
Oh, yeah.
Being in the cult, Draconic is quite common.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I might mix in some like Draconic in there in my questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe throw in like an undercommon question, you know?
So both of them did fail as you're kind of like delving into their minds. There's a fairly hefty amount of embarrassment as you're throwing these questions. You get the feeling as you're listening to their thoughts that they were ambushed. They were like watching the fire to make sure that like it didn't spread down to the tents. There are like to the prisoners' tents. It would have been hard for it to get there, but they were, trying to be prepared, and they were watching the half elf. And then all of a sudden, somebody jumped them from behind. They don't really recall much after that, other than like kind of being stuffed into these cages and then just unconsciousness.
Okay. Vesha just kind of looks at them. Your failure will be noted. And then turns back to now the other 2, 3 if you count Lemon Blossom. They know nothing important. Let's keep going. Follow the tracks.
So while this has been going on, is Chris doing anything as far as the tracks that had been pointed out?
Can I guess, would I be able to know if they were like the tracks made by the prisoners, or if they were like tracks made by the guards or other cultists?
Go ahead and do a survival check for me as you're glancing around on the ground where Vestra had pointed out. So with the 13, it's hard to kind of tell. It looks like there aren't a lot of tracks on this side, though. And you do notice that there are some that are heading towards the camp from the cliffside. But there are more heading away from the camp towards the cliffside.
I will point that out and say maybe we should head towards the cliffside. 1, that'll give us a better vantage point, and 2, we can see if that is where the tracks continue to go.
And as you're looking up the cliff, it's quite a ways up. Falling off of it would be quite uncomfortable, but it's definitely something that, like, if you dropped a rope off the top, you could climb down the rope. You're not seeing any signs of ropes. You're not seeing any signs of climbing equipment. And looking at from your from where you are at the base of the cliff looking up, you're not seeing any signs of people up there. So it's almost like they've already scaled the cliff if they went that way and pulled up any ropes. And if you want to head around, you can either go on the other side of the like to the north side. You know, there's a ramp that goes up, and you can probably get to the top that way, or you can head back the way you came into the camp, which is probably a little bit further, but you know that there was also stuff going on in that direction as these fires were lit over there. So kind of up to you on where you want to go.
I guess I'll try to take the fastest path.
Okay. And
So
what is
we scaling these cliffs?
I guess that is technically the fastest, although there aren't any ropes. I was assuming that Chris was going towards the closest ramp.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah,
you were
let's
trying
take
to
the closest ramp.
scamper up the cliff.
I mean, I am a rogue, so I think I probably
Yeah.
could scamper up the cliff, but...
Yeah, some tactical Eldritch blasts to make handholds. And,
Right?
Yeah. I feel like if we really wanted to.
What is Lemon Zest doing while this interrogation's going on and this investigation by Chris is going on?
I'm not really sure we're at the. Where are we right now?
All right, so you have all
We're
joined
out
one
the
another
tent. We
in
already
this, in these tents down here. Whoop. Vestra is technically in the tent area. Chris is at the wall, and they're doing separate things.
Okay. I guess I'll probably have followed Chris then.
Okay. So you notice as Chris is like glancing around on the ground, looks at the cliff wall, looks up, kind of seems to be noticing some tracks that led to the wall. Is there anything that you wanted to do otherwise before Chris is like, we need to get to the top of the cliff?
Top of the cliff. Well, okay, so Chris, you investigated it already. No.
Goes the Lemon Zest.
Yeah, I don't feel like I have anything that I could do.
Okay. Yeah, if you just want to keep an eye out while they're investigating, that is a completely valid option.
I'm just keeping an eye out.
Okay. Did you tell them about Aster?
Oh, yeah. I thought I had.
I mean, you were talking to Willow about Aster, and then you kind of rode up on them. I don't think you told them. I could be
No.
wrong. I might have.
Oh, wait, by the way, Aster's gone.
What do you mean Aster's gone?
Yeah,
They
Aster
took
was
Aster?
teleported. They took, well,
Oh.
Barlowe took Aster.
Oh. Is
What
Barlowe
do you
with
mean
them?
Barlowe took Aster.
There was a light in their tent. I went to check it out. There's this blank spell scroll. I'm pretty sure he teleported her to see Mumsy. Popsy.
What are we gonna do about that? We've got another mystery to solve.
I think let's go after the prisoners first, and then we can track down where Aster's family actually lives and make our way there on foot.
As they
Okay.
stare blankly at you.
They're like, this plan sounds
I
ridiculous.
don't know. How are we going to figure out where they live is the problem.
I don't know. That's a problem for not right now. Chris, where are we going?
Up this cliff,
Okay.
to the top of the cliff, to figure out where these tracks go.
All right, so Chris leads you north through the camp. There's a ramp on the far side that leads up to that kind of that tent that had like all of the little messenger serpents in it, and then continues up from there. And there's like a little bit of a climb, not very dangerous or anything, that gets you to the top of the cliff. You circle around to the south side of the canyon, and looking down, you can see that the fires have been put out. There are kobolds moving around trying to like kind of assess the situation and clean things up. Other initiates have come back down. They're like soot covered and kind of like exhausted looking, and it looks like, you know, everything's just kind of starting to settle down. And the various light sources, there are some magical, there are some fires, like campfires, not out of control fires. You can see that there are people now investigating below you, that it seems like they've been sent over potentially by Langdedrosa, which you had told about the situation. And yeah, as you are looking, you notice that there are definitely signs that spikes had been driven into the ground, and ropes had probably been used to go down. You see like frayed bits of rope, and several footprints that lead off to the southeast. You don't see signs of anyone currently up here.
Do I see any more tracks?
So yeah, you see the tracks that lead off to the southeast. It looks like there are... You actually would notice that there are a few tracks that lead up and more tracks that lead away. So a small group moved in and a larger group moved out.
So I will relay that to everyone and just say we should follow, I guess, the tracks, the ones that have more people. That's probably where the prisoners went.
Alrighty. Yeah, let's see if we can get them, or at least see where they went.
Okay.
I mean, like further ahead than where we are now.
Okay. How long do you want to follow these tracks?
I want to follow them for as long as they go.
Yeah,
Okay.
an hour.
An hour. At least
Yeah.
10 minutes. Maybe less.
These 10 rounds of combat.
Right. All right, so as the night deepens, the four of you, if you're counting Lemon Blossom as we should, head off towards the southeast. You do notice that some of the tracks... It does look like they were trying to cover their direction a little bit, but it does seem like speed was more of a factor, and so they weren't very successful in covering their tracks, if that makes sense. And so they do end up leading you back to the high road. At the high road, I will need either a survival or investigation check.
I'm gonna do investigation.
You could do a group one, or somebody can help to give one person advantage.
I just got
I
natty
will-
24, 25.
We'll go with
so-
that.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
At the road, which is a good ways, you spent probably a couple of hours getting here by foot. You do notice that there are signs of a wagon that the tracks lead up to, and the wagon had been sitting like the tracks. The impressions it left were a little deeper where it was sitting, and then it rolled away off to the south.
Well, that's the end of that, I guess, right? Because we can't follow a wagon, right?
Maybe we could try, but at this point, I feel like it's not wise to go with just all of us. With just us.
Yeah, we can. It can be someone else's problem.
That's a
gonna
them
have to
problem.
be.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like a good idea.
We need to focus
Maybe
on
we
Aster.
should tell Lane DeRosa what we found, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go back.
Yeah, let's do it. So we trudge all the way back, retrace our steps.
Right. All right. So as you turn away from the high road and you head back in the shadows from across the road, a pair of beady eyes watch you as that giant badger is like,
We left you alone, Badger.
you don't see the badger. The badger's just watching you. And
badger
then
knows something.
Can I roll perception? Roll perception to see if I notice this badger. That's a 7.
A
so
7.
That's a no.
You don't notice the badger, even though he's like leaning against a tree smoking a cigarette. It just so as you head back, it takes you a couple of hours to get back. By the time you're there, you're just feeling quite worn out. It's been a heck of a day. A lot of adrenaline has just like kind of now left you feeling a little exhausted. You head down into the camp, which is settled in again. The kobolds seem to just be sleeping out. Those who lost their tents just are sleeping out under the stars in some bedrolls. You do notice that the light that illuminates the inside of the tent where Langdedrosa and Frulum had been meeting with Resmir and the Red Wizard, that light is going again, and you don't see Langdedrosa standing outside, nor Frulum. But much of the rest of the camp has settled down. What do you do?
I guess we start to ask around to see where what's his face lives and took Aster to. I just forgot his name. I can only think of Benvolio. That's not right.
Barlowe. Barlowe is the name
Barlowe.
you're looking for. Yeah. Who do you ask?
I guess first person I ask is Langdedrosa.
Okay. So
They know things, right?
They do know things. As you head up to the tent that you had seen Langdedrosa meeting in, there are guards posted outside, and they just like cross their spears in front of you. They're not to be interrupted.
Hey, guards! Do you know where Barlowe lives?
Barlowe. I don't know what Barlowe.
Yeah. Okay, you're fucking useless. What's Langdedrosa doing?
He's meeting with the others. Not that it's any of your business.
Which others? Oh my god, you are so fucking useless. So unhelpful.
While the kobold is talking down to the guards, what are Chris and Vestra doing?
I guess I'll be also looking around for someone that might know information. You said Langdedrosa wasn't around, so we can't tell them what we found.
You're pretty sure. I mean, if unless Langdedrosa is sleeping in a tent somewhere, it is likely that Langdedrosa is still meeting with the others on the map. It's tent. It's level. Yeah, tent number 2, right here. And you notice as Lemon Zest is yelling at some guards out front of there. If you want to talk with other folks, you can absolutely do that, or you can go to the tent with Lemon Zest. What are your thinks?
I will go to the tent with lemon zest, I think.
Okay. And Vestra?
Yeah, I think I'm like standing behind Lemon Zest and like standing there in all my barbarian menacingness as Lemon Zest tries to get information from these guards.
Okay. They'll probably be wrapping up soon. It is getting late. Do you just want to wait until they're done?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, we stand there in all of our menacingness.
They go back to like staring over you. Like,
Oh, I have another question. Is there like an armory where I can like upgrade my armor?
upgrade. Are you asking them or like something you noticed earlier?
Asking them, but yeah, general. Did I notice if there was an armory where I could switch out my armor?
Yeah, I feel like actually while you were talking with Bonvolio, there was the sounds of like a blacksmith that was up in that area. So you're pretty sure that there is up there. There's not like a store, but there is like a blacksmith that has been. There's one that has been traveling with the caravan. But it seems like this area probably has a slightly more complex setup that wouldn't be like a travel thing.
Okay, so I just need to get me some medium armor.
As you're going to head up that direction? Or are you going to do that later?
Yeah, I guess since I've got time to kill, I'll do that now.
As you head up that direction, you do notice, you find the tent.
But I did tell the others, like, hey, okay, so to kill some time, I need to upgrade my armor, so I'm ready to do some pow. Yeah. So I'll be back, hopefully before Langdondrosa gets back out. So I will be back.
Okay.
Okay, good luck.
Vestra and Chris, are you staying
Yes.
outside the tent? Okay. So, Lemon Zest, you head up that direction. You do find this open area where there is a forge. The forge seems pretty permanent, and there is a fellow that's keeping it going rather than letting the fire go out, but it's just kind of, the embers are very low, and he just kind of every so often goes over and feeds it, pushes the bellows, but there isn't any signs of someone who's actively making anything here in the dead of night. And the tents around you are pretty quiet. Every so often you do notice somebody chatting, kind of sitting in the shadows with someone else. And as you're looking around, you do notice that there are several sets of armor for the various ranks that have been created or in the works. What do you do?
Excellent. Do I see any for my rank?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Don't fail me.
The important part is not just for your rank, but also for your size. Nice.
For my size, that's a
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, so as you're looking around, you do notice that there are several sets of kobold armor that have been made for the Dragon Claw rank. Some are, just leather, some are just cloth. There are metal sets that are varying types. So what is it you're after?
I just need medium armor.
Like a
I'm not gonna be
scale mail? Or...
especially picky. Like, let me look this up real quick.
Okay. While you're looking it up, I'm just going to go back over to Vestra and Chris as you're outside. Not long after Lemon Zest goes away, you notice that some of the light inside kind of dims, and the flap opens, and you notice Frulum step out. And Vestra, you're standing right there as she just looks down at you. And then kind of blearily, like her eyes are a little bloodshot. She rubs them slightly and heads off towards the tents as Langdedrosa steps out after her. Oh, you're back. Good. What did you find? He seems very distracted.
Vestra just elbows Chris. Tell him what you found. What we found.
Yeah. So we followed the tracks. They ended up going to the main road, and then they turned into wagon tracks. So I don't know how we're going to find these prisoners because they are now in the wind.
That is upsetting.
That it is.
He leans over to one of the guards, and you hear him mention that he needs to speak with the camp head and the hostlers. And then he leans over to the other one, and he's like, start preparing everyone to move out. Then he refocuses his attention on you. Looks like we'll be leaving here sooner than we planned. We don't know what it is that the half-elf knew, but it's probably better that we get going soon, just in case.
Well, we're missing someone.
You're missing someone. Who's missing?
I'm going to nudge Vestra.
It turns out that Aster was taken by her brother, using a teleportation spell. Do we know, does that mean that the brother is now suspected to be a part of the prisoner escape? Or
he just sighs and he places a hand over his face, just kind of rubs in between his eyes, like the scales there. No, unfortunately, he was sent here by Anabraxis and her parents. Her being Aster's parents, not Anabraxis's parents.
Okay, yeah.
There is a tenuous treaty between us and the remaining members of that part of the cult.
Oh.
This is concerning because if he's kidnapping our members, it might be that Anabraxis is planning something. I hate to do this to you. I know you just arrived today, but I'm going to have to send you after them.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Where are they?
He just kind of looks at you for a long moment, and he says, "We'll be sending you home to the Tower of the Talon."
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So real
is
quick,
that like super far away?
it is. It isn't super close. And you do know that the Tower of the Talon is where the Draco Lich Anabraxis has remained in power for that side of the cult, and had kind of been the whereas the Well of Dragons is where the dragons were transformed at one time into Draco Liches. The Tower of the Talon is the headquarters of the previous incarnation of the cult and the current remnants of that side of the cult. So when I won't even have you do an insight check on this. When Langdedrosa said home, there was a certain level of worry and sarcasm in equal amounts behind that word. And with that, we're going to wrap up this week.
Cool.
before we send you off to the plains of purple dust, exactly, Raven, to face the what might be a pseudo insurrection. I don't know what you would call this.
Yeah. No. So this will be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Yeah. What could go wrong?
Just before I forget, Mika, did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, so either scale mail or adamantine scale mail, which is only uncommon, or smoldering armor scale mail.
Let's call it scale mail for now.
Okay. That's fine, because I've got an infusion that can add another +1 anyway.
There you go.
Adamantine's just cool because it's only uncommon, but prevents against crits. That's
right?
dope.
It is super useful. You get the feeling
mail. Awesome.
The traveling and these small camp areas don't necessarily have access to that kind of stuff, but
I figured I would
maybe
try. I figured as much, but
right. But maybe the Tower of the Talon might have more fun toys for you all, depending on how things go there. But next week we will pick up as my brain turned off. Aster rejoins the party, or you join Aster where she went. Why don't we do a round of outros? Let us know if there's anything coming up that we should tune in for. Anyone?
Tonight on Roll D5, we've got Drags from Mars.
What?
Yeah.
How did I miss this?
Bunch of beautiful, wonderful drag king/queens/aliens are gonna go on an adventure. And it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's part of our Pride Charity Month.
That's freaking awesome. Oh, and Juicy's gonna be there?
Yeah.
That Juicy's gonna be there.
What a fun stream. What time is that at?
7 p.m. Central.
So 8 Eastern, 6 my time, 5
9 Pacific.
Right.
No, it's 5 Pacific.
5 Pacific.
Yeah.
If you're in Japan, I'm sorry I couldn't tell you what time it is there. I don't know. But yeah,
it's
tune
like
in
a
for that.
14-hour time difference. So it would be like 10 a.m. Japan time.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're not working.
But tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like in the future.
Yeah. Awesome. And Mick, nothing coming up? No streams or anything to talk about? All right. Okay. Well, then we're going to wrap it up. We will see you all next week. I feel like there is something. Oh, Friday. We're going back to Deckerheart. It's been a few weeks, but all the crew is back together. And so we're going to be diving into that, picking up where we left off, which was with Death. And that should be fun, having a character having just died in the group. So yeah, there will be that. And then I think that's it for this weekend. There's a session 0 going on, which will be tons of fun, but it won't be streamed, but that's for the upcoming Mothership game, which starts on the, sorry, I have to double check, the 15th. Really looking forward to some space horror for that 2-parter, so tune in for that as well. And we will see you next time after we raid. I remembered raiding. Let's raid catchy cantrips. Raid catchy cantrips, please. Thank you everybody for joining us. Head over and follow us on the YouTubes and follow these fantastic folk that get to play this, or that I get to play this game with, because they're fantastic. And we will see you next time. Bye all.
Bye.